The sailing season in New England is cut short by this unfortunate seasonal interlude known as winter. It's a long 6 months of cold, snowbound, bitter misery, where familiar summertime jaunts are left desolate. It makes that big turn right performed by many at the end of the season towards warmer waters all the more tempting, until you realise that 6 months on a 30-foot Catalina would be pretty miserable. It did, however, leave ample time for reading, allowing me to whittle my way through this entire bookshelf row of sailing books I'd accumulated over the summer, and many trips to Boston Harbour Shipyard and Marina, where the boat was being kept on the hard for the winter. So here she is, sitting on the hard. Gotta use this ladder to climb on board. First on the list of projects was new cockpit speakers for the boat. Meet my new friend, Mr. Dremel, which, for only $70, allegedly cuts through fiberglass just fine. Now, I always hate to cut holes in my boat, especially ones this size, and I had debated at length as to where to put these speakers. And so eventually decided on putting them up high so that were a wave to break over the back of the boat and flood the cockpit, it wouldn't leak into the boat. The Dremel cut through the thick fiberglass just fine, and although it was slow going, after a couple of hours, finally, working speakers. Just in time, as the sun's gone down and it's fucking freezing. Another project on the list was to refinish the kind of scrappy looking teak. This involved taking a cabinet scraper to strip the old varnish, then sanding, and then painting. By this point it was December, too cold to varnish outside, and so I took some of the pieces home with me. Please use in temperatures above 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Check. Please use in a well-ventilated area. Be grand. Another on the list was to rewire the boat's lighting in LED. The stuff on the boat was abysmal, dark. The new lights made a huge difference. Been gone for a month, come back and discover that the boat has thankfully been shrink wrapped. The shrink wrap is like a big condom for the boat. It keeps snow off of the deck, which could eventually thaw, leak into little crevices and cause all sorts of havoc. But before long, spring had sprung, it was April, and it was time to rip it all back off again. Time for my first trip up the mast. I couldn't for the life of me find the 2 bulbs I needed to replace anywhere on the boat, and so I decided to go up anyway, take a look at the standing rigging, make sure it was holding up okay, and to clean the mast track since I was having an awful time dropping the mainsail. When I first bought the boat, the one thing the surveyor called out is that at some point the cutlass bearing would need to be replaced. Now, from what I understand, this was not a lot of play in the bearing, but this is one thing the insurance company latched onto, insisting I replace it. I've yet to let a marine professional do any work on the boat. There's not much I won't first try myself, but this job did look a little involved. But when the quotes came in from local professionals, with labour costs ranging anywhere from hundreds to $1,000, I decided, no, I'm going to try this one myself. So I rented the tool to press out the old bearing, and it turned out to be one of the easiest jobs I ended up doing on the whole boat. Here you see me pressing out the old bearing with the propeller removed, and this bearing is used to keep the rotating prop shaft centred after it's exited the hull. Since the weather had warmed up a bit, it was time for a fresh coat of bottom paint. 4 hours spent removing, disassembling and putting back together a rope clutch. Let's not go there. And then it was time to get launched. This is the contraption the boatyard uses to pluck boats out of the narrowly spaced storage space. From there the boat goes into the slings, and it was up at 6:30 on Monday morning to be the first boat to get launched. Please start, please start, please start. It started, it always does. And that key check of health, spitting cooling water out the back just fine. Well, she floats. Goodbye Boston Harbour Shipyard and Marina, off to the Boston Harbour Sailing Club anchorage. Going well. Even the autopilot is working. It's almost too good to be true. I get in at about 8 in the morning, got a lift to shore, and I was off for a day's work. That night, I came back to rig the mainsail and the stack pack. I've been at this for about 2 hours now, and it's finally time to turn this boat into a sailboat. Oh, And remember all the work cleaning the mast track? It worked. It's 6:20, just finished rigging the head sail and the battens in the mainsail, put in the reefing points, and there's a small craft advisory in place for this evening. However, if you look around, you'll see why I'm a little puzzled. Completely calm. Just in case. Here comes the most important bit. We're sailing! Going so slow. There was no wind, so it was back on with the engine, and I was just so happy to be back on the water again. And I got tunes! So that's it for this video. I'm really looking forward to the 2017 season. Got some great trips planned, hoping to bring the boat out of the state of Massachusetts for the first time. Now I suppose at this point I'm supposed to say something about giving the video a thumbs up and how it really helps me out. I couldn't give a shite about giving the video a thumbs up, but please do keep the comments coming. I've gotten some stellar advice. Thanks for watching.